Big news as far as the Cavaliers are concerned. We wake up to news that John Beilein apparently wants out. I think the upshot will be the next game is Friday night in Washington, but I don't think he's coaching that game.
I would find it hard to believe, Les, that the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers on Friday night is John Beilein. When this kind of report is leaked or is reported, I don't want to discredit the guys who reported, I think Linda Windhorst and Wojnarowski of ESPN. When that comes out, you can't walk that back, okay? If you're a player on the Cavaliers and you read or hear about this, why in the world would you ever want to see John Beilein on your sideline again?
You wouldn't.
If you have any self-respect as a player, you're like, hey, John, nice knowing you, pal.
Well, that was after the slug mention that he had a couple of weeks ago.
Thugs and slugs. I mean, it's been a disaster for Beilein every which way you slice it.
Well, Beilein signed a 5-year contract prior to this year. That was in May of 2019. Began the season with a record of 4-5, and since then, look at what it is. Reportedly referred to his team as a bunch of thugs. He meant slugs. He lost 133-92 to the Clippers last week. Worst home loss in the history of the team.
The second worst record in the NBA behind Golden State. Listen, we all knew this was going to be a rebuild. This is part of a rebuild. This is year 2.
And he knew it also.
He knew it. But you know what? Even for a rebuild, this has been a disaster. And here's what I also wonder, Les. Clearly, there's a disconnect between Beilein and Love, and probably between Beilein and Thompson. You wonder if Beilein was waiting to see if Love and or Thompson got moved at the trade deadline.
Right.
And once that didn't happen, well, you knew he had 2 games until the All-Star break. He's probably saying, I really don't want to go through the end of the season with coaching these guys.
No, but his team got better at the trade deadline.
You would think so, yes, but I'm not saying that that's what it is. I'm not saying that's what pushed Beilein to the brink. Clearly, he was in over his head. He has been in over his head. The only question now is the monetary settlement. How much are the Cavs going to be willing to give him?
If he's resigning, he's not entitled to anything.
Well, and that's the point. I don't think Beilein is going to want to resign if it means he can't get a decent chunk of cash. Well, in that case, what do the Cavs do? Do they force him to continue coaching them?
Well, apparently the two of them, Dan Gilbert and John Beilein, were supposed to meet today. We don't know the results of that, if it in fact happened. In fact, we got our first news about Dan Gilbert just yesterday. He's back to work at his Detroit office 1 or 2 days a week using a wheelchair and accompanied by a service dog. Says he gets tired very easily. Everything is hard to do, which is understandable. He's set to make his first public speech since the stroke, and that'll be on Friday. And he'll have the added addition of having to deal with John Beilein here.
Yeah, I mean, what a difficult circumstance in which to come back. I mean, but listen, this is an untenable situation with Beilein. You've got Bickerstaff on your staff. He's I wouldn't say a perfect interim, but he's a guy you could drop in there.
That's why he's there.
Yeah, you figured he was going to replace Beilein at some point anyway. Why can't it be for the final, however many games it is, whether they 54
so now you've had
28?
In the last couple of years, you had David-Blatt situation, you got tyronn-lue, and now you have this.
Yeah, and it's almost, again, it's OIC, because in Blatt's case, you know, you try to get a Euro League coaching star to come in here
and
coach LeBron James.
Well, you didn't have LeBron.
Oh, right, you didn't have LeBron, and now then once he comes in, you're trying to coach him. T-Lue, OIC, that you fire the coach who just won the championship in less than a year and a half after that. So it's just unbelievable.